Yes. Anyone from the team? Hello?
Yeah.
I thought you guys are not.
Hello.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any question.
Okay. Good. Anyone else?
I'm also fine.
Alright. So when we have no questions, generally there are two of the possible cases. Case 1, you understood everything, no questions, good enough. Case 2, you understood nothing, no questions, good enough. So which case do you fall in? Yes guys, what case are we in? I hope we are
Aman, I just missed 2 classes last week. Hello?
okay.
Yeah, Aman, this is Rasmita. I missed 2 classes last week. I need to follow up with those two. I haven't received the Dropbox link. So I just told Farhan that same. Sorry, Hussein the same.
Okay. So you have
Once
followed
I get it, I'll be in follow up with that.
you will follow the videos.
Yeah,
Alright.
I just missed 2 classes on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, I got your point, yeah. But you will be able to follow the discussions here, right? I hope.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Sure, sure. Anyways, if you have any questions, reach me. Okay.
Oh, sure.
And anyone else? Priya, you can't hear? What's wrong? Alright, let's start. So, alright. So the concept of packages we spoke about earlier is just as a logical separation for your classes and interfaces so that you can organize your classes and interfaces in a suitable format. And apart from that, you can avoid naming conflicts. Naming conflicts occur when you have same name of the class in the same package. So what you can do is you can separate the classes which has similar name into multiple packages. I can get this documentation again in front of us, and yeah, yesterday while we discussed, we spoke about this concept of packages and classes and interfaces in Java documentation. This is the documentation link, docsoracle.com Java SC. You can simply say Java SC docs and you can get this documentation. Over here on the top left we have all the packages which are available in the API, and here whenever you check on any package you get that package information, all the classes and interfaces which are available in that, right? And if you happen to see on any class name, you can simply click on the name of the class. Like for instance, we have date class here, right? This is java.sql.Date. So the fully qualified name for this class will be java.sql.Date. This is how you identify the class name. Now the the packages are useful for also avoiding naming conflicts. If you happen to notice that there is another class in java.util.Date, there you see the name of the class is date in both the packages, but they are different just because they have different package names. So the fully qualified name for this class will be java.util.Date, right? Yeah. So if you happen to understand, let me just have one demo. Fine. That's demo 1. So I can take java.util.Date class as one date object in my example. Similarly, I can say java.sql.Date as date 2. So I can have these two classes used in my application without any conflicts, because the fully qualified name for this will be java.sql.Date. sql.Date. I'll simply write a comment. Fully qualified name is java.util.Date, and for this is java.sql.Date. So far our classes what we have created does not have any packages defined. The reason being we have simply haven't covered the topic yet. So in the coming discussions we will now define some packages to distinguish our classes, and once we define the packages we can also enforce the scoping of your variables and classes and members. You can avoid scope. Okay. Scoping, what we already spoke earlier, the access modifiers. These access modifiers we spoke that there are some access modifiers which are package private and they are visible only within the package and they are not very visible outside the package. So those classes and those members which are package private are not visible outside the package, and that enforcement you can do by using packages in your code. Alright. So let me take examples of packages now, and we'll discuss the concept of, we'll discuss the access modifiers like package, default, package private and all. Alright. So for that purpose I will create a class called, I'll create one package name demo. Always this is a convention that packages will have lowercase and class will have uppercase. You do not forget that. Okay. So I'll take this as 1. Class name is 1. Alright. And if you happen to notice the convention of this, that methods and variables, they all have a lowercase when we define them. Alright, so I'll have a method here, void show, print show of class 1. Right, I'm simply saying just this show method is executed. Fine. And now I will create a class called, a class called in this package called exp. Alright, and I'll name the class as 2. Alright, and in this I will write method called void show I'll say show of class 2. Alright. Now I will do one thing. I will write a class here in this package, default package called run. Here I'll have the main method. Fine. I will instantiate one o equals to new one, new one, import this. There you see. So for instantiating classes which are not available in the current package, you will have to write the import statement. If there are classes which are available, which are not available inside the current package, and you have to use them from another package, you have to import them. Without importing, it will not identify what this one is, because this is not available in the current package. Alright, you have to import them. You have to say import package 1. Oh, it is available in demo.1, yeah, then it will function. Or else you will have option to say demo.1 equals to new demo.1. You can say the fully qualified name for that class, demo.1. If you do this, you will not have to have the import statement. Import statement is not required when you use the fully qualified name. So let me make a note of this. Import not required.
What is demo here?
Demo is a package name, this package name. Okay. When using fully qualified name. Alright. This is one way of using packages. If you don't, the class run is available outside the package. Understand this and see here. The class run is available outside the package, and due to that you cannot use it directly. You have to import it, or you use the fully qualified name. Conventionally, the syntax is we do not use the fully qualified name, just because it might become very lengthy. If you just see some examples, I might have the package name which is very long. Okay, I'll show you some classes in Java API. For example, they will have almost 5-6 words. The convention, what happens is, every company will follow their standards of using the domain name reversed order. They will use the domain name in reverse order to specify package name. So if I am working for a company named XYZ, I will have to use com.xyz. I'll have to specify what the business unit is, BU training dot. I'll have to specify what project I am working in. So that will be maybe CLS some project dot module dot package name dot class name. Okay, this is how the syntax will be if you happen to use the package names in your real world. So you cannot use this whole thing every time just to identify the classes. So the convention what we use is, we use import statement, import demo.1. Alright, import demo.1. So once you import that, you can use. Now one thing, for importing this one class should be public. If this is not public, let's assume I remove the public clause, then you cannot import that. There you see, it is giving me an error saying demo.1 is not public, hence you cannot import it. You cannot import. So only public classes can be imported, other classes cannot be imported. You cannot use outside the package. Okay. One is, I'll say only public classes are visible outside the package. Got the point? I have imported that also. I did the import, but still it is not visible because it is not public. The simple reason. So the concept of the story is only public classes can be imported and be visible outside the package. That is why we call that scope as package private. If you remember, the scope of the default scope is called as package private, whereas public is public. So class can have only two scopes. It can be public and it can be private, package private, which is default, and that means that it is visible only within the package. Alright, so let me make this public now, and let me import it. Fine, it is done. Now let me come to the next statement and do what? Now I'll call the method which I declared in 1.java, because I'm importing it. O dot, I'll say show. Again, there you see I get an error. It says show is not accessible because it is not public. If you see that this is not public, the method is not public and you cannot access it. So if I make this method also public, then this will be accessible. Alright. So even if the class is visible but the member is not visible, you cannot access that. I'll say the same thing, are visible outside the package. Being visible means you can access them. That's it. Nothing more than that. Only public members are visible outside the package. So if I don't have this as public, I'll not be able to use this. Alright. I hope you understand this point. This is for anything. This is for even if I have some properties like even if I have a variable int a equals to, I'll not declare it, I'll not initialize it, I'll simply use int a, and it is not public, I cannot access that. O dot a equals to 10, 20, whatever, I cannot do that. It says a is not public. Change the visibility to public. It is not public. It is, you just hit on this, you will get the error message. It shows that it is not public, and this also provides quick fix. So Eclipse will help you put a quick fix saying change the visibility to public. Alright, but when we discussed about encapsulation, we discussed that the data will not be public in most of the cases. Rather, you will have to in fact it is in private scope, and if you want to provide access, what you will do, you will provide setters and getters for your methods. There you see, you can provide setters and getters for your variables, for your data, and you can now use set a equals to 20, and if you want to display the value, you can say o dot get a. Anyhow, we discussed this concept already, so this is not of importance for now, but what I want to specify is the non-public elements are not visible outside the package. We already spoke that private is not visible outside the class and default is not visible outside the package. So do I make myself clear on this concept? Alright. Now there is another scope which is protected. We will discuss this scope once we are familiar with the concept of inheritance. Alright. We will see what inheritance is, and we'll understand how does Java implement inheritance.
I have one question.
Yes, tell me.
If we will not mention any modifier before the classes, then what type of what default modifier will take?
Default modifier is package private, which is visible only within the package.
No, for the class.
For class also package only.
Package private, right?
Yeah, it is package private. I gave the example, right? This one, if it is not public, it is not visible here. It means what? It is visible only within the package. Only within the package you can access it. You can access this one within the same package. You can create another class which is class. Let me create a class run in this package also and have a main method. And this run can access one o equals to new one. It can access, right? And o can call show method, whatever. If I run this, it will show which class did I run? By the way, anyhow, we got this point and it is getting compiled. You will understand that. So if it is not public, it is default, which is package private. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We spoke about encapsulation and constructors, constructor overloading, right? And method overloading. We also discussed an example as how method overloading behaves in Java. We gave that example of calculator demo, right? Yeah. So let's move further. To create a package, put the package statement with the name at the top of every source file. So how do you create packages? We saw this. You define the name of the package after putting this package keyword. This keyword is used to define your packages. And if you have long package names, you will separate it with the name. For example, I'll use the name of the company called XYZ, com.xyz dot some bu dot project name ccl, maybe the project name is dot package name, I'll say education something dot student class. Alright, maybe I want to have this class, this as a package name, so I'll have to write it like this. This is the convention anyhow. If you say that you have worked in a company, you should know what the convention is used for naming the packages in that company, right? Let me resume the changes. So this is what you have to do for defining packages. Put a package statement with the name, then the package statement, for example, package graphics must be the first line. Yeah, this is the convention. You cannot declare packages anywhere you like. I cannot do simply inside the class like this. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It gives an error. So package statement should be the first of the things which is defined in your class. Alright, and to access the package members, you must first define the top level classes with public access modifier. To access that class, it has to be public. Otherwise, you cannot access that outside the package. And what happens in your Java code is whenever you create packages, how Java treats it, essentially it does, let me open the folder where I have, where I think it is in my users, yes, workspace, training. Alright, this project, right? So if I go into the source, I'll see that there is a package, there is a folder created with the name demo, which has one.java, and exp2.java. So physically what Java is doing is it is separating them into two directories, into two folders. It is segregating using the directory structure. So that's the convention, that's how Java does the packaging for us. Alright. To access package members from outside the package, you refer to the fully qualified name. You say com.example.banking.account, or you import that. You use the fully qualified name in the method call, or you import the class. Right? If you want to import the entire package, what you can do, maybe for example I'll have more than one class in my package. I have one.java, I have 3.java, whatever. So to import all those things, you can say simply banking.star, or here in our examples you can say demo dot. If I have more than one class, when I am importing, I can say instead of saying one, I can say demo.star. It imports everything. Right, that's it. Then we'll discuss the concept of inheritance in Java, as to what inheritance is and what it gives you as an advantage. So by simple definition, inheritance simply means that you inherit the features of someone without you doing anything. Okay, in our layman terms, if you simply understand what is inheritance, you get inheritance from a parent to a child. Similarly, the concept of inheritance is used in Java, where you have a parent class, and your subclasses can inherit the behavior and the properties of your superclass or parent class. Alright, this is the definition of inheritance. So Java supports two types of inheritance. One is single and one is multi-level. It is not multiple inheritance like in C++, where you can inherit from two different classes, but rather multi-level inheritance is it means that you can go to any level of inheritance. Your parent class can extend to child class, and that child class can again extend to its own child class, so on and so forth. Like in this example, we have object class, which is the superclass of all the classes in Java. Account is extending this, and savings and current is extending account, and there is another customized class called Subida, which can access savings. Alright. So the examples what we have discussed earlier, like for example we discussed about alright, I'll create one class which will act as a parent, and to that I'll create some child classes, and we'll discuss this concept of inheritance in more detail now. So I have a class called account. I'm creating savings account extends and current account extends account. There you see. So we have created a bank account earlier. Where is the bank account? In encapsulation, right? In encapsulation we have this class called bank account. Now let me take another example, because this is already very much populated. This is let me take a simple example and start the discussion. I'll take a class called, I'll go inside demo again. Name of the class is person. It's a demo. The reason I'll define person class here, class person, right? And we have used the things earlier, like concepts like encapsulation, private string, I'll take name, private string, int age. I'll use a method void talk. Alright, and over here I'll have person. In fact, I'll take name plus talking. Alright, and void walk, name plus walking. Fine. Now when I want to inherit this, I'll take it as the class which has main method, run it. Now I will say person class student extends person. Alright, when I say student extends person, simply by saying that I get all these stuff. The members are visible, though private is not visible even outside the to the inherited classes. Let me simply instantiate student object. Now student s equals to new student. Alright, and I can say s dot talk. Fine. If I run this, null talking, because I did not initialize any value for my name so far, so it is saying null dot talking. But remember that did I define the method called talk in student? No, I did not define. I did not define the method talk in student, but I am still able to use that method because it is available in the person class, in the super class. So just by saying extends keyword, I can simply inherit the methods and variables which are available in the superclass except private. If I have it as the private, I cannot inherit that. Let's assume that this method is also private. Alright, then I cannot call that method. It is simply not visible outside the class. Simple definition for private. Alright, the class student now extends person, and person is the parent class, student is the child class. Let's see this. Parent class and child class. I can similarly I can call s dot walk. I can get that value executed, null walking. Now if they are private, now these fields are private, I can make them accessible by giving the method get set again. So I will use that over here. I will generate getters and setters for this as well. So I have them here. Now I have set name, get age, and all. Yeah. So I'll simply hide them because we know the syntax of what it is already. So get name, get age, set name, set age. You have those things to work. Now I can simply use those methods also. I can use student dot set age as 20 and student dot set name as alright. Now when I say s dot talk, it says hurry talking, hurry walking. Okay. So this is how inheritance does the job for you. You can extend a class which is not final. Now one thing I can make a note here. If you have class called which is final, classes can be final. Final means you cannot extend them simply. If you want to prevent inheritance, if you want to prevent your class being extended, you can make them as final. Alright. So I'll not do that because I want to understand inheritance now. Alright. Now what can you do in your subclass? You can inherit members. Alright. You can replace methods and you can replace static methods. Let's see what are the benefits. Why do we use inheritance? Alright. Why do we use inheritance? So the concept of inheritance is very useful as it provides us three major benefits. Okay, it provides us three major benefits. One benefit is simply you can say code reuse. Code reuse, you have specified some code. One benefit you are automatically deriving is you are getting code reuse. Alright, this is one of the first benefits. Okay, the second benefit is you can provide or you can improve, you can extend behavior, I can say. You can extend behavior. Now the person class simply has two behaviors, two functionalities, talk and walk, but the student can have more functionalities. It can have more behavior. So I can say student can void study. Student can also study because it is student. So I'll say get name plus studying. Alright, and what this get name means, it is the same thing. Here I was using the name, but this name is not visible in the student because it is private. I can use get name. Alright, so student dot print student class can have functionality called study, and now when I say this student S can also study. If I run this, I'll see Hari talking, walking and studying because he is also a student. Now the same study method is available in the subclass because student is subclass of person, but this is specific only to student. Person cannot study. I cannot say person P equals to new person and P dot, I can say talk, I can say walk, I cannot say study because it is not visible in the class. It is not there in the class. Fine. The person can only do this behavior, but student can have more behaviors. Alright, so I can say this child class can have more functionality or have more behavior. So the second benefit of inheritance is you can add more behavior. Apart from that is inherited, apart from the one which is inherited, you can add more behavior which is not available in the in the parent class. So as we have seen that the person can talk and work but cannot study because it is just a person. Alright, this is the second behavior, the second benefit. And third benefit is you can improve the behavior, or you can improve the functionality. You can actually improve the way person class behaves or the way parent class behaves. For that purpose you have to do what? I can say void talk print, I'll say get name plus talking better. Got the point? What it means that I have the same functionality here, the method talk, but the implementation is different. I can say this talking is better because student talks better than a normal person. He's a student. So this means improve behavior. So this is the second benefit of using inheritance, that you can also improve the behavior, existing behavior. You can modify that. You have inherited that talk method, but you have changed it. You have modified the behavior. That modification is because you can now when I call this talk method here, the talk method of student will be executed, not the talk method of person. Let me run this. There is he. Hari is the student talking better. Hari is working and is studying. So why is this better again visible here? Because I have overridden the method. The same talk method which I have inherited, I have overridden. This concept is known as overriding. What does that simply means? You have inherited a behavior, but you are modifying the functionality. You are changing the functionality because you want to have a better implementation in your subclass. So these are the three major benefits of using inheritance in your application development in using object-oriented programming strategies. So inheritance allows you to do a code reuse. It allows you to have or extend the behavior or add new behavior to your applications, and it also allows you to modify the existing behavior, which is the concept of overriding. So overriding is simply nothing but you have the same method in the parent class, but you want to define it in the child class so that you modify the method. So have a look at this slide. This is package 1. This is package 2. Parent class, from the parent you can inherit everything except private. Inherits public, protected and package private things. You get all these things in your subclass if you are in the same package. If you are in the same package, you will get public, protected and default thing, but not the private things. You will not get the private members. Because you are available in the same package, you can get these three things. But when you are outside the package, you can get only public and protected members. You will not get private. I think you will not even get the default members. This is outside the package, and that is the difference of protected scope. The protected scope is enabled only for subclasses which are available outside the package. Protected is for protected members are visible in the subclasses outside the package. So let us take that example also. I have this, now I have person, I have student. Let me create another example called employee, but I want to do that outside the package. I want to do it in another package called exp. He's an experienced employee, right? And outside the package also I can extend that. I can say extend person, but again this person has to be imported. I have to say import person, and for doing that import also I have to see whether this is public or not. If this is not public, story ends here. You cannot import it. Story ends. I cannot say even if I import demo dot person, not the person demo, just the person. I cannot do that. It will say that this is not visible. The person is not visible. It means you cannot use that because it is not public. The story ends here. If you want to use the class outside the package, public, make it public class person. Alright. And again, one important thing which has to be remembered is whenever you have a class which is public, you have to save that class within the source file with the same name as the class name. Okay. If you want to have a class called public, you have to save that with the same name as the source file. The source file should be the name of the class file. And that also implicitly makes it clear that you cannot have more than one public class in one source file. So this is one source file and I cannot have more than one public class. I already have this public, I cannot have this public. So for that purpose what I will do is I will simply cut this. I'll remove this from this class, this source file. I'll remove person from this source file and create another source file called person.java, finish, and I'll put this here. Alright, now I can have this person here. The person demo will use person from a different source file. It is using from a different source file. What is that? It is person.java. Yeah. This person.java is being used for this example. Alright. And if you want to extend this person now, you will have to again import it. Now when I import it, the person being public, I can access it. The person is public now. Have a look at this public class person and I can now access this. Add package declaration. Okay. So this is your public class employee, which is extending public person. Now what? After I extend person, I'll say I'll have the main method here only, just for the simplicity, and I'll instantiate employee class e equals to new employee. I'll say e dot talk. Now you see the talk is not visible because the talk is not public here. If you notice this, talk is not public, you cannot get the talk method in this case. So if you want to have methods which are supposed to be used by subclasses outside the package also, if you have methods which are supposed to be used by by classes outside the package, then you will have to use them as protected or public. Outside the package you cannot see the default scope. You have to make it as public or protected. So the concept of protected is for that reason only. Protected means you can make them visible outside the package but only to subclasses. Alright, so you can make them visible to outside the classes as well as outside the package but only to subclasses. So I want to make this as protected, I can do that. So now the protected thing, now it is for public or protected, it can be visible. If I now run this, I'll see no problem. I'll see null.talking because I did not set the name so far. So I can see employee have the talk method, and if I say e dot set name, set age, I'll say employee is a bit older, e dot set name Hari is already student, I'll say Ravi. Alright, so I can say set name and simply run this. It says Ravi talking. Alright, you're getting this. So I hope the concept is clear of protected. The protected members are visible for outside the package also, but only for subclasses. So understand this diagram here. Parent, child in same package. You get public, you get protected, you get package private, which is default. You get these three modifiers. You don't get private here also. Fine. And if you have parent and child in another package, you get public, you get protected. Okay, you don't get the package private. So that is the concept of using protected for your subclasses. I hope you are okay with that. Fine. So one last important thing which has to be understood over here is how to use if you have parameterized constructor. The class person talk. What's wrong here? Yeah. Alright, so let's assume that the person class which we defined, the person class has, let me take it here to the leftmost, because first comes the person, then the person demo, then we have student also. Yeah. So let's assume that I have defined a constructor in my person. I want to take the name of the class, name of the person whenever I instantiate that. So I'll say public person. I want the constructor to be visible outside the package. I'll say public person, which takes name, string name, int age. Whenever you instantiate it, you have to pass them. So you define this, that whenever you I'll simply here, what I will do when I use this name, where did int age go? Okay, int age is here. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to set the name and age with the constructor. I want to say this dot name equals to name and this dot age equals to age. So whenever the constructor is called, I want to do this, and for that reason, because I am having this constructor, I don't want to have the set methods because it doesn't make sense. I can simply anyhow let me leave the set methods here. I can still initialize the data using the constructor. Alright, so when I have this constructor, how can I extend the class is the question. How can I extend the class? The class cannot extend because it has no constructor there. It has no constructor in student, but the person has the constructor. So when I say student extends person, I expect a default constructor. If I don't have a default constructor, what I should do? I should have a provision to call the superclass constructor. Okay. So in that kind of scenario, what you will do is, understand this clearly. I'll have a student which will have similar stuff, which will have, what's this? I have a student constructor, and the student constructor will also take string name, int age. Alright, it will also have the constructor defined, and it will do what? It will pass these values to the superclass constructor. And how does it call the superclass constructor? For doing that, you will have the keyword called super and just pass this name comma age. That's it. You call the superclass constructor and you pass the name and age. What will happen? And when you instantiate it from here, you will have to pass the name. You will have to pass the name as Hari, and you will have to give the name age as 20. You will not have to call the set methods now. You will say, I don't need, because you are passing those values in the constructor. So I'm commenting them. So student, now this call, when I make student s equals to new student, I'm calling the constructor and passing the values name and age. This will call the student constructor and it will pass the name and age, and it will supply these things to the superclass constructor now, name, age, and this will go to the person and will take it here, name, age, and it will assign it to the current class object, name, age, and the values are instantiated here. And when I run this example, I'll see Hari talking and working and studying as well. In fact, talking better, working and studying. So this is how you use the superclass constructor. The super keyword is used to refer to superclass object. Alright, just like you use the keyword this to refer current class object. If you remember, what is the use of this? We spoke in the earlier discussion. What is the use of this keyword? To access the current class members. Similarly, super is the keyword which is used to access the superclass members. Alright, and that's what I am doing in this example also. The public class account has three fields: account number, name, balance, and I have a constructor which takes these three things: account number, string name, and double balance. And now I want to extend that account class to savings, and I will define a constructor again, public savings, account number, name, double balance. Alright, and now I can also have another value there. It is again up to you. If you have more behavior, you can define that also, but at least you should pass these three things. So super must be the first statement in your constructor. If you are calling the super class constructor, super must be the first statement in your constructor. This statement should be first in your constructor. After that, you want to do something, you can do something. Okay. And now when I want to use employee, employee also needs to have the same constructor because it is also extending person. So what I will do, I will say employee public employee having a constructor which takes string name, int age, and what this will do, this will also do the same thing. Super, call the super keyword, pass the name, comma age. That's it. And when I instantiate this, I'll say employee has a name, Ravi, and age 40. I don't have to set name and set age now. I can simply say employee.talk, Ravi talking. Alright, so I hope this thing makes sense. Do I have any questions before I wind up for the day?
Yeah, I have one question.
Please go ahead.
You have mentioned one method with a statement talking better. Why this method not be executed?
When in what example? Here, right? When I call employee.
In person, not in previous class.
Yes, I did that. This is only for student. When I run student,
Yeah, we have also created the object with student name, right?
I created student object. Yes.
Yeah.
And
When
after
we call
creating,
it s.talk, then why it's not executed?
it's executing, right? See this? It is saying student talking better, Hari talking better.
Okay, I got that.
This is only for student. But for employee, it will say only talking. Because you have not overridden that here, right? You have not overridden the talk method again in.
Suppose we have two packages with different names.
Okay.
Can we have same class name in two different package?
Yes, why not? We discussed that initially itself. I gave you example of SQL.Date and util.Date. If you remember that.
Yeah.
There you see. The name of the class is date, which is in util package, and the name of the class is date, which is in SQL package.
But these are built-in package, right?
Whatever. They are also using the same Java language, right?
Okay.
We will also use the same Java language to do that. They are built-in classes, I understand, but the same strategies are followed by the built-in classes also. So you can also have the name, same name. I can have one.java in demo. Okay, I'll do that here itself. I can have exp package. I can have one.java in exp now. So there you see, one.java in exp and one.java in demo. Doesn't make difference. All right.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? All right. So we have covered a good amount of ground, guys. So far, we have discussed plenty of concepts on object-oriented strategies and all. It is highly important that you guys are watching the videos and understanding these concepts clearly, because these things are very important for you to understand and write any application. The ground syntax is very important, the basic syntax. And I would definitely urge you guys to uh, watch the recordings plenty of times and understand the concepts and do the examples what we are discussing here, and put those examples or assignments in the shared folders. I didn't see everyone who is attending the session having their shared folders in the shared drive. And by the way, the class is why do we see everyone is gone from the session? Was the session very boring or what? Everyone left from the session?
No, I'm here.
I'm
You
here
are
too.
here, but those who are not here are not here. All right, fine. That's all for the day. I'll wind up the session. I'll again see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye bye.